In this section, we're going to talk about muscle tissue. So we're on our we're on our second of the four tissue types. We just did connective tissue. So connective, we already did. Now we're on muscular tissue. And that should be pretty obvious that muscle tissue is specialized to contract. It's the only tissue that contracts, so it can move parts of the body. It has cells called muscle fibers. That's actually the muscle cells. And you're going to hear about these proteins if you take another anatomy class, actin and myosin. And these are the proteins that make up muscle tissue. They actually slide. There's a whole mechanism that the cells use to slide those actin and myosin proteins and cause muscles to contract. There's three types of muscle tissue. They're called skeletal, smooth, and cardiac. And if you look on your lecture guide, I said make sure what you want to know is the types of muscles with regard to their location and function. So there's a lot of detail in here about structure of muscles and things, but as long as you get the location and the function, I'm good. So the skeletal muscle is the muscle that's going to be move the major bones of the skeleton. It says it's attached by tendons to the bones of the skeleton. Remember, a tendon is dense connective tissue, has those collagen fibers running in one direction that connect the muscles to the bones. So when the muscles contract, it moves the bones. Skeletal muscle is something that we call voluntary muscle, meaning it moves by voluntary action. We can decide consciously to whether we want to move those muscles or not. So skeletal muscle moves the major bones of the skeleton, and it's voluntary. It talks here a lot about striations and all that, and that's a microscopic thing that we're not going to do in this section. Okay, but the functions are voluntary. Smooth muscle has it right here. Smooth muscle is the muscle that moves the organs. And so when you eat, your stomach has to churn up that food and mix the stomach acid with it. Your esophagus, the food goes down your esophagus and pushes it to your stomach. When that food gets in your intestines, it's going to move that. We even have some smooth muscle associated with some of our blood vessels and other parts of the bodies. So we have a lot of smooth muscle throughout the body, and it functions to move substances through the body, and it's involuntary, which means we don't have conscious control. Like right now, if you wanted to move your esophagus, you just couldn't do it. Okay, it's all done by signals from your digestive system to your brain and back and forth. So we don't have control over that. Or your digestive tract, we don't have control over that. And so smooth muscle makes up the muscles of our organs, and we don't have control over that, so it's involuntary. And then the third kind of muscle is cardiac muscle. And cardiac muscle is only found in the heart. And this is the muscle that's involved in pumping our blood. And it's a specialized kind of muscle. And it works all the time. It's got this amazing endurance. You know, think of something that never ever stops, doesn't run out of gas. That's going to be your cardiac muscle. And so cardiac muscle is also involuntary. It's not going to, we can't control it. You might be able to give yourself a little bit of feedback and relax and slow it down a little bit, but you really can't mentally make your heart go faster or slower consciously. So we call that involuntary. And those are the little bit about the three types of muscles.